The starving one. The sky above Idrum Prime was dark and full of smoke. Tall metal buildings covered the land. The air was cold and the ground was wet. This was not a place for the weak. Down below, a small figure walked slowly on the empty street. Her name was Vera. She was thin, too thin. Her bones showed under her gray skin. Her feet were bare. She had not eaten in 3 days. Once her kind was proud. They had cities, ships, and power. But after the war, everything was lost. Her planet was destroyed. Now, she was just another beggar in this cruel alien city. Vera stopped in front of a shiny glass building. Inside, rich aliens were eating and laughing. Bright lights and music filled the room. She pressed her hand to the glass. Her stomach made a loud sound. She slowly stepped inside the restaurant, but before she could say anything, a guard shouted, "Get out, gutter rat!" He pushed her hard. She fell to the ground. People laughed. A woman threw a piece of bread on the floor, not to help, but to mock her. When Vera reached for it, a robot swept it away. She stood up, eyes filled with tears, but no one cared. Outside, the rain started again. Cold drops hit her face. She walked to a quiet corner and sat down, her back against a dirty wall. She closed her eyes. Maybe this was the end, but someone was watching. A man stood across the street. He wore a black jacket, old and torn. His face was covered by a scarf, but his eyes were kind and human. His name was Daniel. Humans were rare in Idrum Prime. Most aliens thought Earth people were weak, stupid, and soft. Daniel didn't care what they thought. He had his own reasons for coming here. He watched Vera for a long time. She was just a child, maybe 16 in human years. No one should suffer like that. He walked toward her. Vera opened her eyes when she heard footsteps. She looked up. For a moment, she was afraid. Was he another cruel person? Daniel didn't speak at first. He knelt beside her and slowly took off his jacket. He placed it around her shoulders. "You're freezing," he said softly. Vera looked at him, surprised. "Why? Are you helping me?" "Because no one else will," he replied from his bag. He took out a small food bar. It wasn't much, but to her, it was everything. She took it slowly as if it might vanish. Tears rolled down her face. "Thank you," Daniel smiled a little. "What's your name?" "Vera." "I'm Daniel." They sat there in silence. For the first time in days, Vera felt warm. Not just because of the jacket, but because someone saw her as a person, not trashed out. After a while, Daniel stood up and held out his hand. "Come with me, I have a place. It's not much, but it's dry and safe." Vera hesitated. No one had been kind to her in so long. Could she trust him? What if this was a trick? But something in his eyes told her he meant no harm. She took his hand. As they walked away, someone watched them from the shadows, a small robot with a red blinking eye. It sent a silent message to someone far away. "Target found. Human 047, unknown alien companion." Trouble was coming, but for now, Vera didn't know that. She only knew one thing. For the first time in a long time, someone cared. And that small kindness would change the galaxy. The room was quiet. Too quiet. Vera opened her eyes and found herself lying on a small, dusty bed. The walls were made of metal. A broken fan made a soft buzzing sound in the corner. A yellow light blinked above, weak and tired, for a moment. She didn't remember where she was. Then she saw the jacket, his jacket, still wrapped around her like a promise. She sat up slowly. The smell of something warm reached her nose. Food on a small table. A metal tray held half a bread, a tiny bowl of soup, and a clean spoon. It looked like a feast to her. But one thing was strange, only one bowl, before she could touch anything. A voice spoke from the other side of the room. "It's all yours." She turned quickly. Daniel stood near a window, holding nothing but a mug of water. "You're not eating?" she asked. He shook his head. "I already did." He hadn't. Vera stared at him. No one had ever lied just to make her feel better. She picked up the spoon slowly, her hands shaking. The soup was thin but warm. She took a bite and, for the first time in weeks, her stomach stopped hurting. She tried not to cry. Failing, Daniel walked over and sat across from her. "Why did you help me?" she asked again, voice soft. he smiled, but there was something sad behind it. You reminded me of someone I couldn't save? Vera looked at him, confused, but didn't ask more. She just nodded. After she ate, she looked around. The room was small, barely big enough for 2 people. Old wires hung from the ceiling. A broken screen showed a map of the city with red dots blinking on it. What is this place? She asked. My lab, he said. Kind of. A lab? Are you a scientist? Used to be. On Earth before everything changed. He walked to a corner and pulled back a cloth. Underneath was a small machine. It looked half-finished, covered in dust and strange symbols. Vera's eyes widened. She stepped closer. I know these symbols, she whispered. Daniel turned sharply. You do? She nodded. My father used to draw them when I was young. He said they were from the old sky. We thought it was just a story. Daniel's heart began to race. It's not a story. These symbols are part of an ancient tech, buried before the wars. If we unlock it, we can break the control systems, free the lower species, maybe even jumpstart a rebellion. Vera touched the machine softly. The symbols glowed under her fingers. Daniel stared. How did you... I don't know, she said honestly. I just feel them. He leaned forward, amazed. You may be the key. But outside, in the dark, a camera blinked again. The small robot from earlier now floated closer to their window. Its red eye turned brighter, recording everything. In another part of the city, far above in a golden tower, a being in black robes watched the live footage. Human 047 is building again, the figure said in a dry voice. And now he has help. Another voice replied from the shadows, calm and cold. Should we eliminate them? The robed being nodded. No, not yet. Let them build. Let them hope. It will make the fall more painful. Back in the lab, Vera looked at Daniel. If they find us, they'll kill us. Daniel nodded. I know. But we can't stop now, you and I. We could be the beginning of something bigger. Vera stood still, thinking. Then she said something he didn't expect. If I help you, you have to promise me one thing. What? Don't leave me behind. Ever. Daniel looked at her, truly looked. Then he nodded. I promise. In that moment, it wasn't about food anymore. Not even survival? It was about belonging. And the smallest crumb of kindness had just become something more powerful, a bond. But neither of them knew that soon, this bond would be tested by fire, lies, and war. The test subject silence, not the peaceful kind, the kind that feels wrong. The kind that makes the hair on your neck stand. Vera sat in front of the strange machine. The symbols she had touched yesterday were still glowing but dim now. Something inside her had changed since then. She didn't sleep much. Daniel was at the workbench, focused, wires in one hand, a tool in the other. His eyes were red from lack of rest. You okay? He asked without looking up. Vera didn't answer. Her fingers were trembling. She looked down at them, remembering the light that had come from the machine when she touched it. It hadn't hurt. It had felt familiar. Like the machine knew her. Daniel, she said softly, what is this thing, really? He paused, slowly set his tools down and turned to face her. It's called a core encoder. It was banned 100 years ago. The government erased all files on it. They called it dangerous. Why? He walked over, sat across from her. Because it doesn't just power ships or break security systems. He hesitated. It links to minds. Vera blinked. What? Daniel continued, voice low. Some species, not humans, had the ability to bond with this tech mental link. Real-time thought control. That's how they used to control entire fleets, machines, even people. And you think I can do that? I don't think, he said. I saw. Vera looked down again. What if I'm not just using it? What if it's using me? Daniel didn't answer. The question hung heavy in the air. Suddenly, bang, the door rattled. Then silence again. Daniel grabbed a small pulse pistol from under the table. He looked at Vera. Stay behind me. He moved to the door, pressed his ear against it. Nothing. Then tick, tick, tick. He flung the door open, but no one was there. Just a small silver box on the ground. Blinking red, Daniel's eyes went wide. Run! He threw it into the hallway and slammed the door. Boom! The shockwave shook the room. Dust and wires fell from the ceiling. Sparks flew from the walls. Vera screamed and ducked. Daniel pulled her under the table, shielding her with his body. Then silence again. Far above, in the golden tower, the robed alien watched the explosion feed on a screen. His thin lips curled into a smile. She survived, said a voice behind him. Yes, he replied. Exactly as we wanted. He turned to a figure standing in the shadows, half machine, half alien. Send in the cleaner. I want her alive. The human expendable. Back in the lab, Vera was coughing from the dust. Daniel had a cut above his eye. They found us, she whispered. Daniel stood up, shaking. Too soon. I thought we had more time. He ran to a wall panel and pulled out a hidden box. Inside were maps, IDs, credits, and a silver chip. What's that? She asked. Daniel held it tightly. Our only ticket out of this city. Vera grabbed his arm. Wait. Who were you before you came here? Daniel paused. I was a scientist. For the Earth Defense Union, I created weapons. I thought I was helping. Did you build this machine too? He looked away. No, I tried to destroy it. But it called to me. Vera took a step back. What am I to you, Daniel? She asked. A partner or a test subject? That question burned. He looked at her, really looked. You're the only person who's made me believe we still have a chance. Vera didn't speak. Outside, sirens were now growing louder. The city had woken up. Daniel handed her a small device. Hold this. No matter what happens, don't drop it. Vera nodded, unsure, scared, but ready. Daniel took one last look at his small lab. This was never just about rebellion, he said. It's about redemption. Then he opened the back exit. Smoke, noise, drones in the sky. Their escape had begun, and behind them, the red eye of the machine flickered again. Only this time it spoke. Mind link established. Subject, Vera, status awakened. The betrayal. She was never supposed to feel anything. Her orders were clear. Observe, record, end them when called. Yet, as the assassin watched Vera laugh, just once, just softly, she felt something different. From a rooftop across the ruined market, the masked figure adjusted her scope. She could see Daniel and Vera through a cracked window in a rundown building. They were hiding in an old cargo warehouse, trying to stay one step ahead of the guards. The assassin's finger hovered over the trigger, but she didn't shoot. Not yet. Inside the warehouse, Daniel had drawn a large map on the wall, full of red lines and blinking marks. Vera was pacing back and forth, her mind filled with questions. You're hiding something from me, she said. Daniel froze. What? You said the core encoder was lost? Illegal, but you know too much. The tech responds to me too easily. This is not a coincidence. Daniel stayed silent. I trusted you, she continued. You promised you didn't see me as a test subject. I don't. Daniel snapped, then softer, not anymore. That one word, anymore, was all she needed to hear. Vera's hands clenched, the lights above flickered. A quiet hum rose in the air. The core device in the corner started glowing, not because she touched it, but because her emotions triggered it. Daniel stepped back, nervous. Vera, calm down, please. You lead to me. I didn't lie, he said. I just didn't tell the full truth. Same thing, she replied coldly, before he could explain. The wall behind them exploded. Guards stormed in, not city guards, elite units, black armor, glowing visors. The kind sent only for high-level targets. Daniel fired first. Vera ducked and activated a pulse shield from the core. It responded to her thoughts instantly. They fought back to back, but the enemies kept coming, and then Vera saw her, the masked assassin, calm, fast, deadly, move through the guards. Like wind, she didn't shoot. She didn't need to. She walked straight toward Vera, blade out. Daniel shouted, "Run!" Vera raised her hand. The core's light gathered into a beam. But the assassin didn't attack. She pulled off her mask. Vera's blood went cold. Zara? Her sister lost in the war. Thought dead. No, Vera whispered. Yes. Zara said, I've been watching you. Daniel lowered his weapon. You knew her? Vera's voice trembled. She's my sister. She was taken by the Dominion 5 years ago. I wasn't taken, Zara said. I joined them. I saw the truth. No, Vera shook her head. You were brainwashed. I was set free. And now I'm here to bring you home. Daniel moved to protect Vera, but Zara struck him in the chest with a shock blade. He collapsed, shaking. Don't worry, she said. He's not dead yet. Vera knelt beside him, panicked. Why are you doing this? You think he cares? About you? Zara snapped. He worked for them. He built the first core encoder that destroyed our world. You're just another test for him. Vera looked at Daniel. Is that true? Daniel tried to speak, but blood came out instead of words. Zara grabbed Vera's wrist. Come with me. They can make you powerful. You're not meant to hide in shadows. The core device pulsed, sensing the tension dot, and then it spoke in Vera's voice. Choose! Vera looked at Daniel, then at Zara, and then at her own shaking hands. No, she whispered. I choose myself. The core exploded. In light, Zara flew backward. Guards were pushed away like paper. Vera's eyes glowed white-blue. Her feet lifted an inch off the floor. I'm done being used, she said. Then everything went black. 3 hours later, Daniel woke up alone. The core was gone. So was Vera. On the wall, drawn in core light, were just 3 words. Don't follow me. The escape. She touched me, and I remembered her. Not her face, not her voice, but her pain. Entry 001, core memory log. Active subject. Vera. The sky above Idrum Prime burned red as alarms echoed across the lower zones. Vera ran. Her lungs screamed for air. Her legs bled from sharp debris. But she didn't stop. She couldn't, not after what she'd done. The core device, no. The living machine was strapped to her back. Pulsing lightly like a second heartbeat, she had fled from the warehouse explosion. Fled from Zara, her sister turned stranger. Fled from Daniel, the man who might have betrayed her. Oh, maybe just broke her trust by staying silent too long. Now, she ran through tunnels once used to smuggle weapons during the war. The walls still bore burn marks. She could smell smoke from old battles and now new ones somewhere above. Daniel coughed blood into his hand as he staggered into the wreckage. The warehouse was gone. All that remained was a single shard. From the core. It was still warm. She took it, he said to himself. She activated the full link. He looked up. A surveillance drone flew past. Time was running out. He had to find her before they did. Meanwhile, Vera stumbled into a forgotten dome beneath the city, an ancient transport station buried by war and ash. It was silent. Dust floated in the beam of her flashlight. Vines grew from cracks in the walls, trying to reclaim metal with roots. She sat on a broken bench, breathing hard. The core glowed again. You are accelerating. Your neurons are adapting. You will not survive this without control, it said in a voice that sounded eerily like her own. I don't care, Vera whispered. I just want to get out of here. Define here. She looked around. This planet, this city, this war. The core pulsed slowly. Then for the first time it asked, do you want revenge or freedom? That question echoed. In her heart, before she could answer, a blast door above her exploded open. She stood instantly, ready to fight, but it wasn't Zara. It wasn't Dominion forces. It was Daniel. Barely standing, bleeding, but there. Vera, he said weakly. Don't run from me. I told you not to follow, she snapped. I had to. Why? Because you're not just a weapon. You're not just a key. You're the last chance we all have. Vera's eyes burned. You used me? I did, he said honestly, but I stopped. You don't understand? They created the core using your people's minds? It was always meant for you. She stepped back, shaking. You knew this? Yes. Then why did you save me? In the street? He looked her in the eyes, because in that moment I didn't see a weapon. I saw a girl left in the cold, and I couldn't walk away. Vera hesitated. The core's glow dimmed, waiting for her choice, but before she could speak, the station shook violently. Zara had arrived, not alone. Above them, drop ships began to land. Dominion soldiers slid down lines like dark insects, filling the station. You brought them here, Vera whispered, horrified. Daniel shook his head. No, they tracked me. Through the wound she gave me. He pulled up his shirt. A small, blinking tracker had been sewn into his side. By Zera's blade, he yanked it out and crushed it. Too late, the battle began. Vera unleashed a wave of core energy. Pure thought, focused rage that tore through walls and metal. She didn't need her hands anymore. Just her will. Daniel fought beside her, weak but focused. Defending her flank. It wasn't enough. They were surrounded. A voice rang out from the top floor. Cold, commanding. Vera, said Zera, stepping forward. Give me the core. Come. Home. I have no home, Vera said, then die here. She raised her weapon. Daniel stepped in front of Vera, shielding her. I won't let you take her. Zera fired. The screen cuts to black. 5 minutes later. Smoke filled the dome. Dead soldiers everywhere. Zera gone. Daniel. Not moving. Vera crawled to him, screaming his name. He was still breathing, barely. The core lit up. New option available. Leave him. Secure extraction. Vera looked at the glowing device. Then at the man who gave her hope, even through lies. No, she whispered. I choose him. She picked up Daniel, carrying him toward an old rail pod. The core synced with the door and activated the ancient system. As the train shot into the unknown underground tunnel, the final message echoed inside her mind. Subject now fully sensed, escape successful, but freedom comes at a cost. The uprising, they say she walks without fear, that the core listens to her dreams, that a dying man followed her into darkness and woke up. Juno, age 10, rebel orphan, level 3 shelter. It had been 23 days since the train vanished. In that time, the world below Edran Prime began to shift. Whispers moved like wind in dead tunnels. The girl is alive. The human survived. The core is no longer in Dominion hands. One by one, the forgotten, the beaten, the lost began to rise. First, it was a stolen food crate. Then a hacked power line. Then an entire prison. Block was freed in Sector 9. Every message left behind bore a mark, a glowing spiral, the core's ancient symbol. The government called it random terrorism. The people called it something else, hope. Deep in a rebel base carved into an asteroid mine, Vera stood in front of a crowd. Gone was the starving girl in rags. Now she wore light armor, sleek, fast, alive with core energy that pulsed softly with her heartbeat. Daniel stood beside her, leaning on a cane, healing but alive. His eyes were tired but focused. Before them stood 20 rebels, different species, different planets, all exiled, all angry, all ready. Why should we follow you? Asked one. A grizzled ex-captain with metal arms. You've only broken things. Vera stepped forward. I didn't come here to lead, she said. I came here to end something. What? Someone shouted. She raised her hand. The lights dimmed. The core within her armor pulsed, and suddenly a 3D map projected in the air. Cities, ships, weak points. Secrets no one should have. This is what they've kept from you, she said. This is how they control you, but we can take it back. She pointed at a central mark glowing red. The control node, deep under Dominion HQ, hidden for 60 years. If we break that, we break their entire system? Silence. Then slowly, one by one, people nodded. Later that night, Daniel found her alone, standing on a platform overlooking stars. You're not sleeping again, he said. Can't. She replied, why? She didn't answer right away. Then, the core is growing louder. It shows me things, not all of them good. Daniel frowned. Is it trying to control you? No, she said quietly. It's waiting for me to decide what kind of weapon I want to be. Daniel stepped beside her. You're not a weapon, Vera. She looked at him, a ghost of a smile on her lips. We both are. Elsewhere, in a cold chamber beneath Dominion. Command. Zera knelt before a massive, hidden machine, larger than ships, older than time. Its voice rumbled like thunder. The core has chosen a host. Yes, she replied. And you failed to bring it back. Zara's jaw clenched. She was stronger than expected. Then we must break her, in front of everyone. Zara stood slowly, eyes glowing. With a new fire, she won't see me coming this time. Back at the rebel base, countdown clocks began, armors were fitted. Ships were readied, the uprising had begun, but no one knew yet. The battle ahead wouldn't just be for a city. It would be for control of the mind, the core, and the very meaning of freedom. And at the center of it all, a girl who once begged for a crumb, now holding the power to rewrite the stars, the everything. You are now at full sync, all power is available, all memories unlocked. One final question remains. Will you be what they built? Or will you become the unexpected? Core directive. Final transmission. The stars outside the rebel ship blurred as it crossed into the Dominion's capital zone, a place no ship had entered in over a decade without being vaporized in seconds. But this time, they didn't fire. They were waiting. In the heart of the city stood a spiral tower of black glass, Dominion HQ now glowing red as if alive. At its base, a platform had been built. Cameras hovered above it. Broadcasts streamed across systems. A public execution was planned. The rebel fleet arrived. Their codes had already been cracked. The Dominion wanted them to come. Vera knew why. They wanted a show. They wanted her to kneel. Inside the lead ship, Vera stood in silence. Her armor flickered faintly. The core was quiet now, not dead, just still. Daniel stood beside her, scarred, but strong. He hadn't left her side since the escape. You don't have to go down there alone, he said. I do, she replied. He looked at her, eyes heavy. You once begged for crumbs, Vera, now they beg for fear. She turned to him. Then let them taste their own silence. She leaned in and placed her forehead against his. No matter what happens, this wasn't about power. It was about you, I know. Then she stepped into the drop-pod. And descended into history. The platform. Zara stood tall in black command armor. Her blade gleamed. Behind her, Dominion. Elite soldiers formed a wall of metal and fire. And then Vera landed. No guns. No army, just her. The world watched. Zara smiled, cruel and cold. Come to surrender? No, Vera said calmly. I came to free you, Zara laughed. From what? You think you're some kind of god now? No, Vera whispered, just human enough. She raised her hand. The core inside her chest glowed, not bright, but deep. Controlled. And then time stopped. All screens froze. All soldiers paused. Even Zara blinked. Inside Vera's mind, the core spoke once more. They created me to conquer minds. You used me to protect them. Now, choose. 3 options appeared before her in glowing light. Destroy the tower. Burn the system. End everything. Upload the core into the Dominion. Rule through control. Release the core to the people. Let chaos decide. Vera thought of Daniel. Of Zara, of herself, hungry, broken, lost. She chose none. Instead, she whispered, I choose something you never predicted. I choose mercy. The core pulsed wildly. Error, processing, new path detected. Then, she reached out and touched Zara's forehead. A blinding light flashed. Across the system. Everyone watching saw the same thing. Zara's memories, her pain, her brainwashing, her buried love for her sister, all played on screen, not as shame, but truth. Dominion soldiers dropped their weapons. The elite turned away. The tower lights flickered and went dark. Later. The world changed. The Dominion fell, not in fire, but in truth. Vera disappeared from public view. Legends grew, stories were told. Statues built. Some said she became a star walker. Others said she turned the core into a seed and buried it in the soil of a dead planet to grow something new. But one boy, an orphan, wrote this in his journal. She didn't just give us power. She gave us a reason to never need it again. Far away, in a quiet green world, Vera walked along a river. Daniel was there, beside her, and for once there were no alarms. No soldiers. Just birds, wind, peace. He asked, Do you miss it? She looked at him and smiled. No, she said, because you gave me everything I ever wanted.